First of all, I'm going to glue the firewall into the front of the fuselage here. That fits in again. We'll do a test fit there. That fits in there like that. And the holes go through, so you can actually get to the backs, the nuts at the back. So no need to put any blind nuts inside the fuselage there. I'm going to glue that in. I'm going to be touching there and round there. So and across the bottom there. The little nose cone actually sits on there, and it's held on by a couple of screws, so that sits on there once the motor's in place. Now this is part of the former that holds the undercarriage, and so we're going to have to put a couple of blind nuts inside there. The recesses are there ready before we actually slide them into the fuselage there. Now I've already cut out the little knoblets that I printed on there to give me the holes for the undercarriage. So these are, I think, M3. What are they called? Are they blind nuts, or the ones with a little neoprene bit in the back to hold in place. 3mm. That's just clearing out the little bit of swarf that's inside there. Probably the easiest way to do this is to put a bolt on the back and then actually pull the nut into the recess. So just pull the nut into the recess in the plastic. Next one. Just make sure that the flat on the nut is in the right position, so that it enters the little recess in the plastic, and now it can pull itself in. Just to make sure that doesn't come out, I'm just going to put a little dab of C8 around the nut itself. Just make sure you don't get any down inside there. the nut. And I'm going to do the same with the top. The nut, whoops, nut fits inside there. This is to hold the wing in place. Now I believe this is the bigger M4. This is the bigger. I think it's an M4. This one. That's actually a fairly tight fit in there. So that's okay. That just fits in there nice and tight, and that's just the hold down for the wing. Once again, I might just put a little dab of super glue there now, and I hold it in place. Okay. Now we can safely glue this in place into the fuselage. So I'm going to put the glue actually on the inside of the fuselage of this one. I guess it doesn't matter if you do it the other way around. And around the can only go in so far because there's a lip there and there's a lip here, so we can push that in as far as it'll go. Okay, now that's all in place. You can see how there was a little recess here, and I've actually cut that out with a knife. That's for this block to fit in there like so. Okay, so we'll do a trial fit of that now. That fits nice. So now we can glue that in place. Glue. So I don't know whether it matters which way you put the glue on the former or inside the fuselage. I'm sure I don't know which is the best. Excess. that part glued together. Okay, now I'm going to glue the tail. Again, we'll do a trial fit. Yep, that fits together nice. Excess glue. I think you probably get less excess glue if you actually put the glue inside the fuselage rather than on the outer joining piece. But anyway. Okay, now we can put the two parts of the fuselage together like this. This is what I think I'm going to use to line this up. I'm going to use the carbon fibre tubes, which you can use or not inside the fuselage. Okay. Yeah, I normally like to use 6mm tube, or I've since switched to arrow shafts, which this is a 4.2 inside diameter, which gives it about a 5.6 outside diameter, and they're very, very strong. Probably stronger than the Hobby King 6mm carbon fibre tube, and they are slightly longer, just a little bit, but I stuffed up on my first print and I only made these holes too small. I've since rectified it on the fuselage and on the wings too. As you can see, this is the arrow shaft, and this fits through the slot in the wing quite easily. The Hobby King 6mm is quite a tight fit. That's quite tight. So, as I say, the arrow shaft is it's okay. It's good enough because that'll take the pressure of the that'll give the stiffness to the wing. Okay. So what I'm using is a 5mm. I think this is actually a 4mm carbon fibre tube down inside the fuselage. Because I actually made these the slots too small. So I'm going to slide them in like that. These almost reach the front of the fuselage. Once again, I'm going to do a trial fit. Yep, that fits okay. And of course that helps line everything up and gives it extra strength. Okay, so I'm going to glue that in place. Again, I think what I might do is glue around it. Always not an easy thing to know what to do, whether to glue around the inside. I think by gluing around the inside of the fuselage like this, you get less excess coming out onto the fuselage. I don't know if that's a good thing, but Okay, let's slide that in place. Like that. Again. There's not much excess. That's the thing about doing the inside of the fuselage like that. There's very little excess glue comes outside and messes up the fuselage. So it just makes for a neater joint. Okay. Now, this is the bit that holds the wing down, and again, I'll probably use a carbon fibre tube inside. The 5 will fit in there. Yes, it will. So that's quite a nice tight fit. Wouldn't hurt for that to go right through, because that's the that won't hurt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure and see how much that needs to go in there, and I think it goes to about there, so I'm going to cut that off like that. Because this is going to be taken off and put on, I think I'll just make that a little short. So that's how that's going to sit. It just helps, that carbon fibre tube just helps a bit of strength in there, and this, the former itself is glued in there, it's glued on there that way like that, so we can glue that in place. Again, I'm going to glue inside here. That's messy. If you glue on the inside, you get little on our spillage or on the outside. And that now just we leave that now. Just when the wing's done, we slide that over the wing, and then it bolts down there to hold the wing in place. This is the hatch. It's on there. Again, we've got little formers that glue in place, and the reason I did this is because, again, I like to print in spiral mode, and if you know anything about printing in spiral mode, you can't print a top. You can print a bottom, but you can't print a top. And this is the lip that actually fits into this part of the fuselage on the back of the hatch, and then there's a recess there for a magnet there, and the same on the front former for the hatch. There's a recess there for a magnet too. Okay. Again, I'm going to go in the inside of the hatch. Glue. Make sure I get the recess for the. I was lucky. Yes, I might make a little lip on the edge of there so it can't go in too far. It wasn't very good, but anyway. And the same here. I've got this little handle to hold on to get it out should it go in too far. Okay. And take off the excess. We can give that a little sand later on, but that should now fit in there like that. There is some clearance between the for the hats to be lifted out. Actually, we need to cut a little tiny bit away there because the tongue on the hatch is not going in quite far enough, and I see that the just inside there, if you can see inside there, the lip is just sticking out. So we'll just trim that off a little bit. Those long nose pliers, and I'll just snap that bit off there. I'll just take it off a little tiny bit. And now that should allow that, yeah, now that'll go right in. So that should go in. There we go. And then the magnet will hold that in place at the front. So there we are, there's the fuselage finished. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.